Spare Change, a poem by Leon Priestnell. A young man, late 20s, handsome features that go unnoticed. He sits on the street, his back against the stone wall. Humans in herds busily walk past him. He has a board that reads, "I've been homeless for over a year. I feel invisible. Please, any change you could spare." Opposite, across the wide city centre street, a protest is occurring. Outside the bookstore, placards and shouting voices. Fair play means fair pay. A couple kiss in a stairwell nearby. On the concrete pavement, a trampled newspaper has a muddied footprint across Donald Trump's face. Has it come to this? By the streets ring in my head as I plough through a city I've lived in for so long that I could stand in a single spot and it would spark a cinematic montage of different memories. I plough through, caught in the grip of a severe anxiety that goes unnoticed and seems reflected in the current state of world affairs. Wondering about all the thoughts worthy of poetry that go unpublished. Much more worthy than I. And also, if there's any change, go and spare. We are the customer in coffee shops, where founders hang out with poets, where creativity hugs business, where loyalty cards are stacked in back pockets like teenagers, stuffing condoms optimistically, hoping to get lucky. She started with a question. 4 poems in her back pocket upstairs in an independent coffee shop in Birmingham's business district. She's unsure if people would come, what they would say, why they should even care. It is the 7th of February 2013. She's anxious but ambitious, some may say bold, and the doors, they open. Poetry Jam. Young people start to gather in these spaces, to speak their mind, a room to fill with love and words, a chance to speak out and be heard. People are asking, where are the young people in Birmingham? It turned out she's found the answer to a question which remains relevant to this day. We replaced the suits for poems, the briefcases for clicks and the coffee for microphones, a community that had been waiting for a signal. Artists and audiences turn up in the droves with poems and open minds. We found each other and never left. It's 2018. Poetry Jam belongs to you, to me, to us, and to everyone who hasn't found their way here yet. This is more than a stage. More than a microphone and overcrowded spaces, this is your sounding board, a place to find power and release, speaking out on issues that affect our lives, like politics, self-love, identity, mental health, and everything that I couldn't fit in, the list that continues to grow, like poets, growing into producers, artists, musicians, like Beatfreeks, growing as people, companies, advocates, like the people who make this space what it is, like Poetry Jam, where creative careers have started. Nervous first-time open mic performers from a few years ago are now headlining major stages. Relationships are formed. Collaborations, friendships, even lifelong commitments are born from conversations in the breaks of Poetry Jam. We love. The community has made itself heard by people in authority who usually struggle to guess what we think and feel. We are heard. A group of free thinkers, young and hungry for change. We are here. Poetry Jam gave rise to all these incredible things and more, and it's not going to go away until we as the community decide it's not needed anymore. We remain here. This is what it is. A place for all of us. A place for words, a place for honesty, beauty and growth. This is courage and safety, laughter and tears, loss and healing. Welcome to the family. Welcome to Poetry Jam. Welcome to Poetry Jam. I can't believe that was shot in 2018 and we are now in 2021.
Right. Yeah, it sounds so weird saying that.
Really weird.
That hits different, like now, when it's been a year almost since we've been like that.
Yeah, it feels, I was just saying before we started filming, I feel like a kid out on a day trip. Like, we're socially distanced, we've had our tests, and we're doing this for you, and we're so grateful and honoured for you to join us on Beatfreeks' 8th birthday to celebrate Poetry Jam.
Happy birthday.
It's incredible.
Nice, yeah.
So, my name's Amerah Saleh. I'm a general manager at Beatfreeks, a poet, an artist, and not the person who read that poem in the voiceover. Beside me, I have two beautiful women, and we have got you, or you have got us, for the whole evening. Our guest spot will be changing every couple of poems, so you'll start to see different people in between. But I want to hand over to Jasmine. Jasmine, would you like to introduce yourself?
Hey, how you doing? I am Jasmine Gardosi. I'm a poet based in Birmingham. I also facilitate and host, do poetry and beautiful things around the country when we're able to. A lot of my journey started with Beatfreeks and with Poetry Jam, so it feels really cool to be here right now.
Say it with your chest. And Tia?
Hi, I'm Tia. I am a social media creative based in Birmingham. Have a podcast, have a YouTube channel, so if you want to go check that out, you can always Tia Talks Media everywhere. And I'm just really excited to be here. So.
And then we spotlight on our guest.
Wow, thank you. Save the best. No, joking. Hi, I'm Tom. I work at Beatfreeks. I'm a community developer. You might see my face quite a bit around for things like Poetry Jam. So it's really great to be here and just kind of be on the other side in terms of just relaxing and just enjoying that side as well. So yeah, really good to be here.
I know, usually, Tom, you're the one that's in the background trying to get everything ready, getting the host in place, getting the artist.
And here we are, yeah.
And now you are a guest.
Yeah. I don't know what to do. It's like, do you know when you go to someone's house and you're like, should I take my shoes off? What should I do?
Absolutely, I hear you. How's lockdown in the poetry world been?
I'm not in the poetry world.
It's been a year.
Yeah. I mean, like I said, that hit different. Seeing all those people in one room at the same time, it's like, oh my God. And it just goes like, that is nostalgic anyway, that video, because it's shot, you get the TikToks from Impact Hub or the Instagram stories from Impact Hub, from Urban Coffee Company, like that old ass video of Tremendous. Like, that's crazy.
I know. That was Urban Coffee Company.
Yeah, and like Java Lounge obviously as well, and even that now is nostalgic. Things are so, it just feels, it takes me back. So and it just goes to show like how much I've been missing that that amount of people crammed into one space. It's beautiful. Missing it.
And now look at us, look at this beautiful, beautiful setting that we're in. Yeah. Like, it is stunning. And I remember I came a couple of years ago to watch Leona Lewis perform. Yes, I'm a Leona fan. And I was sat up there and I'm just looking around now and going, wow. So thank you so much to the Symphony Hall for hosting us. You know, we're always in the town hall for our birthdays, but the Symphony Hall went the extra mile with us this year and gone, you know what, you can have the Symphony Hall, which I appreciate. I'm here for that.
It's pretty all right.
It feels like one of those special episodes, you know, like on TV where like we look back at like all the best bits. Obviously we got some amazing stuff, but it feels like we're looking back. Let's go to that next video. Should we go to that?
Yeah, like a recap. I don't know what it's called, like the reunion type of video. Yeah.
You know what's been cool though? Like, even though we haven't been able to meet up, right? And this feels awesome. Yeah. Like, I still feel like there's been an ability. It's not the same. It still feels like there's like this glue that's holding the poetry community together. So even though I'm meeting you all now, I feel like it hasn't been a literal year since I've seen most of you, because there's been that connection. Like, it's not the same, and it's not right for everyone, but it feels like there's been things that's gone on like online and stuff that's meant that I haven't felt completely isolated. I felt connected. I felt with poets, and I guess like this. Hi guys at home. This is a digital thing as well, I realise. Yeah.
And do you find it weird? Because like, I'm a feeder off an audience, like energy-wise, and I'm like talking to cameras like, I hope you're enjoying it.
Well, I do love a cheeky camera. Can't lie.
You love a camera, come on.
Not shy.
But it is weird, and I guess, it's just, it takes getting used to, but you guys are all good vibes, so I'm enjoying it so far. So.
I think 3 words, if I'm thinking about like from the pandemic started to now, I'm thinking about expression. That's something that is just needed. Like there has to be an outlet for people. Like I've spoken to loads of young people or artists, and the fact that they don't have expression and things like that is so needed. Platform and connection as well. I think those are the main three.
I love Tom. Comes up with like, here's 3 words, everybody. Amazing. Okay, so are we ready to listen to the first poet? And
Ready.
then bit chilly, so you can just do this whilst we're listening to the poem. Ready?
Let's go.
Hello, my name is Felicia. I go by the stage name Feli Speaks. I'm from Ireland, Longford town, currently living in Maynooth. And my poem today is called Ragdoll. I wrote this piece kind of like a reflection of a personal story, and it was written about friendship that became quite abusive, and I hope you guys like it. So, yeah. Ragdoll. Your black eyes shrunk, sat on your face like an oil spill. Drip stories your crooked smile couldn't swing. Snot-stained Bible pages, tear-torn hymn books wouldn't let the grim reap your life yet. You decided your mismatched soul was enough for now. The first time he teased about your body, you clumsily smiled. Held the lip split on your face like you were taught to when a man offered his attraction. You belted out your no on the first request. Even the second, you lost count by the time you displayed your thighs. You undressed unhappily, recited his lines in your head. He was your friend. The first time your phone gleamed with unrequested penis pictures. Your voice scattered with the anger of your father's gods. The man that once listened could no longer hear. Your empty threats fed him fuel. He drove you through memory lane. Held up shards of your past to ragdoll in the mirror. The second time you upset him. Amongst friends you teased, and suddenly your little girl legs lifted against the wall, your eyes blurred as he mounted against your body, slipper in hand. He had to rain judgment day on your body. Ragdoll, you limbed in his hands. Little girl, ragdoll isn't a game. But you already know that. Ragdoll, little girls take your form when nobody cares how they are played with. Bet you cannot recall the first time he took your voice. Trapped it in the grip he snaked around your wrist, waist. When he ordered the use of your body, your sound ceased. Little girl, ragdolls don't speak, but you already know that. Your friend remembered you. Looking for the oil spill in your eyes, cement in their place. When it reached out to grab parts like own shares, more than a grab, more than a squeeze, more than a pull. Little girl, ragdolls are swiped off supermarket shelves, scanned with an exchange to become property. You jumped out of this vehicle, slamming the door on this holy man's sin. Little girl, ragdoll isn't a game, but you already know that. Ragdoll, little girls don't have price tags. You finally learned that.
Do we clap or?
Yeah, what do we do?
I don't even.
That felt like I loved the piece and performance. It felt like a monologue a little bit, you know, like it has that. And I think just watching that for the first time, maybe because like when in the audience, you just connect with the person a little bit, but I think I just realized or just thought about how someone can just switch into something. Like it's like, hey, I'm just this person, blah, blah, switch, eyes up, and I'm just like, raw, what's going on? What's going on?
I just, for me, like when a performer can portray so much sitting down, I have so much respect because that's something as a performer I find really hard to be sat down. It's completely different, but hands and everything, I was just like.
And that performer didn't just perform like as in sit down and read, like they performed it.
Yeah, exactly.
Like it's the type of performance that can really like reach through a screen because You know, it felt like present because it was that, and it was engaging. It was like use of eyes, it was use of leaning forward, it was use of like depth and all that stuff. Like so much so that I've just hit my microphone. And that hands, like you were saying.
It
reached through that one.
Yeah, it was really engaging. You know what was really interesting? They said that it was about a friendship that turned abusive. And I feel like a lot of people don't talk about, when it comes to relationships, we tend to talk about romantic relationships and how they have all this and that. But people rarely talk about platonic relationships. And I think that's so interesting that that's the perspective they took. And it actually really resonated with me as well.
Hear that.
I wonder where we're going next in the country. Let's find out.
I don't think I'm ever going to write about anything else. I've tried so many times to lend my pen to other thoughts, but the truth is that's no use when my fingers are still itching to find the eulogy that you never got round to writing. I have to keep fighting the urge to write it for you because I know there were things left unsaid. Things too big to translate into words, words too big for mouths to hold but easy enough to swallow, which is why I suppose you never wrote any of this down. I've learned, I think, that the most compelling lies are the ones told to you in your own voice, and the loudest noise is often the one that no one else can hear. But what I never had the time to tell you is that noise is always temporary. The truth will always come out if you're patient. The problem with the truth is that it's honest. Too self-assured and good to scream and shout, too modest to ever introduce itself twice. Not like you. You've always been loud. Louder than the truth at times, but why could you not have been louder than your head? Loud enough to cry for help, loud enough to be honest about the noise tapping into your skull. I know you must have been exhausted from the constant headache, but did you really want the silence that came from your solution to the thunder and lightning? I don't know if you thought it would result in sunshine, but there's just nothing now. Only silence. You've never liked silence. You've always been loud, louder than the truth sometimes. And the problem with the truth is it's supposed to be good, but half the time it doesn't make any sense. I've spent my life being taught that honesty is the best policy, but by that logic, then we all have to say this out loud. He didn't want to be here anymore. We have to say it. He didn't want to be here anymore, and now he isn't. Tell me why I should have any faith in an honest life when this is the truth I'm stuck with, when this is the truth that you are stuck with. Why would I have any faith in an honest life when those lies, heavier than the weight of the bones that they left behind, survived far longer than you did, when those lies, louder than you could bear, continue to scream amongst your silence, when that noise is the reason that we're stuck with this? The silence that you left behind is the ugliest, most honest sound I've ever heard. I could never put it into writing. I suppose, at least, I can begin to understand.
Wow.
The silence that you leave behind is the ugliest. I can't remember the exact line, but I feel that very much right now. Really do. Really, really do. Yeah.
I really felt them, you know. Like, I just felt every word. And they painted a picture in my head like I was watching an episode of EastEnders. Like, I connected so much with that. Wow.
Yeah. And there's this other line, I think I'm going to butcher it, but like, the problem with honesty, the problem with the truth is that it's honest, which is,
Yeah.
That's, that, and I just, I'm so into that. Something that explores that side of it, like the angle of a loss. You know, I'm really, really into that. And I also love Tierney. We've met, and like Tierney's awesome. So it's really cool to see them here.
Yeah. I think there's some poems that like if you compare it to the last one, not trying to compare like that, but when you think about the last poem, for me, I'm exploring somebody's world, and some poems kind of bring you in to see what the world that they're creating, and then this one, I felt was the opposite. It was making me just think about like my life, or just I was exploring me in that poem kind of thing. I was just like, wow, I haven't got that much words to say to you. I'm gonna have to go have a think about this for a minute. So it's really nice kind of comparison.
Yeah, it's really powerful, I think, as well.
Very powerful. I feel like I'm not often at loss for words, and I'm just like, there was a lot in that I feel like I need to go away and be like, as Tommy was saying, like I just need to go away and
sit with it,
deep that.
Yep.
Like it was beautiful.
If you're watching at home, you might have to go grab a cup of tea.
Yeah.
Go.
That's what I would say. Yeah.
Go
Go
walk
take a break.
around a little bit. Change the bins if you need to.
Change the
Damn
bins,
it.
you know.
Where's our cup of tea?
Did any of you? Yeah, no. I've got my first coffee from Nero that I've had in about a year. Which was,
Wow.
I know.
It's a special day today then.
Really special. Did anyone get dressed when they went out to take out the bins at the start of lockdown?
Oh no, I didn't do that.
Okay, but like last Saturday, just gone, I had like 7 hours of Zoom, which is ridiculous, right? I was like, I need to get out, but it's very late. So I put on my shoes and I went out to take the trash out. And I'm like, it's like a whole new world. It's refreshing, and it's like, that's a trip. It is a trip, like a trip out, but also maybe
We was like talking about like going to Asda or Sainsbury's, and like it's a proper out.
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? Like you can't.
Out and out is now redefined, isn't it? Because British
Going to the
people, that's such a
supermarket.
British thing.
Yeah.
like we went to, sorry that you weren't there, Tom, missing out on like the social
Bonding.
like, cool things, but like
Yeah.
we went to Sainsbury's on Broad Street, and that's the wildest I've been. On Broad Street, right?
Wow.
For a while.
Gosh.
This is
Went to get our lunch.
yeah.
Sorry,
I just got left out.
I just wanted to clarify. Did you say 7 hours on Zoom?
Yeah, there were different Zooms, but cumulatively 7 hours.
Zoom interchanges.
It wasn't back to back though.
Yeah, it was.
This is
I
now the
know, I
online
don't know why I did
version.
this.
I've taken like multiple flights.
And I hate transit flights.
I hate it.
Hate it.
You're gonna wait for a couple of minutes.
So
You
like
can't-
back-to-back Zooms are like the
The
second
online
thing.
flight world, yeah. I realise I think I need to do a plug, don't I?
Yes, you do.
Yeah. This is one of those sponsored by. No, I'm joking. It's not a sponsored ad.
We wish.
Wish. If you do want to sponsor, get at us. Follow the links somewhere. I'm pointing like there is one. But no, as I said, I am from Beatfreeks, community developer. And yeah, if you want to get involved in anything that we do, we've got some amazing plans that we want to do this year. We're trying to be flexible to COVID, but we want to just really ramp up the online space. And you can check us out at beatfreeks.com. I'm sure there's going to be links in the description. Yeah. If you want to email me, I'm not going to say all these long links, but just find us somehow at Beatfreeks on our social media as well. We've got some amazing things coming up.
And tell us how you're finding tonight. Use the hashtag PoacherJam8 at Beatfreeks. Let us know, and we'll share and enjoy. We can't be in the same physical space, but we can definitely make the same noise online. So that's enough non-sponsored, sponsored ads. Let's hear the next poem.
The exposed brick in the kitchen tells me you used to end here before Dad extended your asbestos sky. The constellations of Artex hanging over our heads. I am too aware of your borders. The question hanging in the front door frame. The knots of tree trunks behind the shed, sandwiched between concrete and rotting fence. You grew palm trees glazed with snow, bookending the spot where I would sit on top of the climbing frame, talk to the neighbour boy, his head peeking over the fence. The overgrown magnolia at the end of the garden, your flowing ball gown, evergreen leaves that brushed the grass, branches curved into an archway leading to the pond with the big silver and gold carp I would tear up slices of bread for, watch them lip the crumbs. Do you remember when Dad overfilled the pond and the silver carp floated up onto dry land, found a new pond in your dirt? I still soak in your waters, lonely as a gold carp. give thanks for every liquid breath. I wish the pond would overfill into an ocean that surrounds me wherever I go. Sometimes you feel like a lake, and I remember how to swim. Sometimes I sink and think about how every friend is a neighbour I only know from the neck up. How I can only leave you with a pocket full of bricks when I am miles away, drowning, heavy with your walls. I repeat to myself, you end here.
Who's that?
Oh, Tom, where are you
indeed.
gone?
Half my name is Tom, to be fair.
Thomas.
Yeah.
Yeah. Hi.
Hello. We've got Fabio joining us.
How's it going?
Yeah.
That
Yeah.
Oh, that. I really like that. I know that spoken word and poetry is performance, but that was a performance. Like, I felt like a casting director almost. And he was like performing something emotional to me. They were performing something emotional to me, sorry. And the use of the hands, the gestures, the facial expressions. I was in it. It was good.
Definitely. I think you could definitely tell when they're performing it that they meant the words that they were saying, if that makes sense. It's really cool.
Did anyone got by the line about how, what is it, your friends
Yes. Yes.
are your neighbours who only know you
Oh,
from the
top.
from the neck up?
Yeah.
I'm like, oh my God. And then like the metaphor just all
of
makes
it.
sense in that moment.
And I've never heard it before. I heard one of you went, and I went internally
I did
as
it,
well. I'm going to be using that, in real life. And like, you only know me from the neck up, you know,
Yeah.
you don't know me like that.
That
was
something
really
becomes-
powerful. I like that.
Yeah, I think I did a little and I just turned
I
to
was
you
like-
guys.
I genuinely just like, when you're taken aback by a line, like, but I just loved it, like the pond and the ocean and the lake, and it really built a whole picture. And I had to close my eyes at one point.
I saw that.
Yeah, I really had to close my eyes because I could see, and in my head it was like in a park, and it was just, it was stunning.
I found the neck up line really weird because obviously it properly resonates with now, right? Where you only see people on a screen and you only see from the top.
Oh, yeah.
And like the contrast of such like a non-Rona poem, which feels very nostalgic and
Non-Rona.
organic and natural. With like something that resonates properly with like the digital world we're in is mental. Nice hat too.
It was one of those where the line, it felt like it tied everything together. I can't wait to like watch this poem again, and then all that set up in the
Yeah.
beginning, all the way to that line. It's like, oh, okay,
Yeah.
and then it's sort of that is kind of like the pinnacle where it just makes everything
Sense.
else make
Yeah.
sense. Yeah, that's sick.
I agree.
I was really tempted to be like, okay, can we stop all the recording and just all rewatch this? And then we can give, because it was one of those poems, I agree with you, that you have to listen again to be like, I want to see where that line that was so incredible, I want to see where it hit and what leads it up to there and all of that. But talking about up, I've started to lose my outfit slowly because I'm getting comfortable.
I can't even remember what you were wearing.
No, I can't remember
Before?
either.
I think she had some fresh Vans on, if I remember.
Okay.
Did you have
Nightclubs.
a jacket as well or something
I
like
did
that?
have a jacket, yeah, but we're gonna strip it away slowly, and we're gonna see what
Who
I
you
look like
are.
really on Zoom, because let's not lie,
Past the neck
do not look like
or
this
neck down.
on
Yeah.
Zoom. Exactly.
Yeah, I'm excited to see how this develops.
I'm excited to see how all of this develops. Are we ready to see the next artist?
Yes.
Let's do it.
Yeah, we
Doing
warmed
the
up our hands.
Birdman hands.
tipping over the edge of a cliff, stumbling, crumbling, about to drop, falling, failing, unsynchronized wording, hoping that someone can understand the words of my mouth, falling, blanking a blank wall, no emotions, no responding, desperately hearing, but presently unconscious, falling, hurting, crawling, hoping that someone can helping me help me, understanding me. I'm rambling on and waving, crying, in desperate need of protecting me from me, falling, until I'm sinking. I sink into a poison-filled sea, drowning.
Wordplay, the way it's just.
That's the
It
kind of
reminds me
thing.
of you a lot. Yeah. I associate.
Yeah. Like, I knew you were going to say that. That's my kind of thing, where somebody, like, doesn't just say words, but they're like, do the words need to be said in this way? And then, like, that's what this poet did. It's just like, do. I could almost, like, see it on the page, almost. The way.
Like it falling.
Yeah, exactly. It's just, like, play. I just love, like, poets who play with how they're saying things and playing with, like, that structure. Like, it doesn't have to just be like a word. It can be said in a different and interesting way.
They set it up to unpack it really well, if that makes sense. From the rambling line, like they built it all up there, and then to unpack it from after. I really enjoyed that too.
I loved the use of like the camera. Here I go, a media person. But I love the use of the like camera angles. It just was like, it was all over the place, and it was just very in your face, and everything hit a lot harder. I really enjoyed that.
Yeah, you get the writing and the film shot well together. It's
And the
just
backdrop as well, the field or whatever is good.
Yeah, where do you reckon it were?
Where was it?
Yeah.
Initially, I was thinking it was like a farm, but then I was like, probably not. It was probably just a field.
I thought Scotland, maybe.
Oh, we're talking about countries. Okay.
Well, I don't know.
Where is this poet from?
Yeah, I don't know. Not sure.
Do we know?
Maybe it's Nottinghamshire.
Maybe Nottinghamshire, yeah.
Yeah, maybe.
Shires.
The Shire. Nice.
It sounds like it has a lot of fields
Fabio
over
stood
there.
there like, it's not the same thing.
I'm from the Shire, I know.
I also did realise that we actually didn't introduce you, we just said Thomas, and your name's not Thomas.
No, I know. It's all right though.
Do you want to introduce yourself?
Yeah, I will do. My name's Fabio Thomas. I'm insight manager at Beatfreeks. Started like 3 years ago, and Poetry Jam was one of the first things I ever did starting here. So it holds a bit of a special place in my heart as well. So.
Well, we're honoured to have you here,
Honoured to
joining
be
us. Fabio's clocked off his shift, and Eugene has clocked on. Hello, Eugene.
Hello, Amerah. And what's poppin' poetry gang? As Amerah said, Eugene here, and I'm a community developer for a project called Don't Settle.
So excited to have you, and we're going to reel on to the next poem.
Hello there, I'm Nasima B, and I am from Manchester, and this poem is called Nomad's Land. It tastes of saffron and sandpaper castles, the Red Sea parting into Blackpool Beach, like an emery board rubbing against your skin, of fear and of breaking, silent in a crowd full of kinetic bodies, beguiled yet sombre, it sits still, whilst tectonic plates collide, nurture versus nature, solid, frantic face, manic placed evenly on cross-stitch, secretive yet seamless, hanging on bare thread. You find start on the cusp of end it is gouging, taking the necessary like you're leaving, the unforgiving, the unavailable to give, the hard hearing with punctual edges, puncturing. Home tastes of caster sugar on porcelain. China is preparing to transit. shrouding and shelling, like getting ready for long sleep, a long drive, or losing yourself to chase soft. You make acquaintances and force yourself. Exert. Exhaust. No recovering from burnouts, baby. Can you focus now whilst giving yourself to, even if you don't know your destination, even if your lips sit still, quivering and frost-bitten, fluid, feeling, fleeing, full. This time, noticing the sky is at the bottom of your list. You don't see what is above you or around you or beneath you. Worlds collide and worlds split in two. Your world is breathing in a chokehold, and of course you can't look. Your eyes aren't dry enough. In time, it's hard to see anything underwater.
All of them. Does anyone else notice like a really beautiful rhythm in the words? Like there was such a, and obviously it would have been on purpose, but like the long, the exhaust, like there was just such, I don't know, it felt like different shapes.
Felt that. Yeah.
It was the wordplay for me.
Yeah.
Like wordplay is just always impressive, and so when they were like using the double entendres and stuff, it was just like, oh, okay then, you know, it was really impressive.
I don't know how you all felt, but that was like a poem that was taking us around the world. That makes sense. Like that's sort of what it made me feel like. Like she mentioned so many different aspects of like Earth, if that makes sense, but like countries, and she went as far as geography.
Yeah, she did.
That was lit. That was fire. Are there any fire extinguishers in the house?
You said it was the wordplay for me, and then you've gone, it was lit, and I'm like, yeah, it was good.
Did you guys feel the same way as me when Nasima was like coming towards the screen?
Yeah.
And I was like,
yeah, going back.
Yeah.
And that's the cool thing, because we don't have like a stage, we can't perform on stage, so we can't use the stage, right? As one of our performance materials. But like when people are using the camera, I love that, because it's like, yeah, I know we're not on stage, but does it mean I still can't have a presence?
Yeah.
And to be apologetic about that.
I agree. It's interesting to see how they tap into their performance through that way, as opposed to being on stage, like you said. I think it must require a lot of creativity and just to think of ways of like pushing your message without having the crowd there.
When you do spoken word, you're so, like I don't know if my movements change every single time I read a poem. My movements are different because I'm reacting to the people around me. So to have a camera and it be so static, I think when artists engage with it, it just breaks that idea of like it's just there. Like I've seen work where people flicker the camera on and off, and as they get closer and then they open it and it's just their eye, and you're like, it's just so beautiful.
Who's done that?
I'll send it
Thanks.
to you.
Yeah, send it to me.
It's not just about the words, it's also about the action. It's about how they say the words, the tone, and how I love how it all just comes together, and it's amazing. Yeah.
Have you changed your headscarf?
Maybe.
I don't remember it being that colour.
You get in there, you're clocking on, Jasmine, I like it.
Did you guys notice? I didn't. It took me a second.
Let's see where we're going.
Hi there, my name is Jack McMillan. This is my poem, All the Young Men in My Town. Thanks. All the young men in my town keep dying. The Morrisons is filled to the brim. Overflowing aisles filled with mourning mothers crying. There's a wet floor sign by the self-service checkout counter as a means to solve that problem, because all the young men in my town keep dying. School dance strip the willow. One-sided, one-half widows wipe tears out the windows smashed by the 82 on impact, because all the young men in my town keep dying. Seem to be plucked. One by one, like the love me knots of petals flying, blooming forget-me-nots, forget-them-nots litter the sides of roads, the sides of bridges, not the plucking of daffodils, more the uprooting of those bulbs days before spring has had a chance to be sprung, because all the young men in my town keep dying. It's a weekday night. £2 for a double's a hell of a price. Get f***ing wrecked for a tenner a night, and more often than not sit and watch someone fight, and even though they'd have his back, in that fight fist blue and black, if he said he's feeling sad, all they ever do is laugh, and he doesn't like the jokes they make. But get told it's okay because they're just mates that take the same drugs that he takes, but he and them can't sleep a wink. In bed, all they do is cry and think, and waking up's been getting a little bit harder. I mean, he's never really been much of a morning starter or a late night eye glisten from the bright lights of that next day's sunrise, risen, giving up on the plans he's given, and he doesn't like the jokes they make. But get told it's okay because they're just mates that take the same drugs that he takes and laugh at all of his mistakes. Tuesday blues. Who cares? Wednesday took too many, when he's not just taking it at the weekend. When it's every night to help him sleep and every morning to make it better and every morning because fuck it. And he said he'd never touch that shit. But old habits, they die so quick. When all you ever feel is sick, when all you've ever known is this. When no one showed him what to do, when all his pals were dying too, all the young men in my town keep dying. Thank you.
Yes.
Yes. At one point, I felt all our heads be like this, trying to follow his rhythm.
I love when poems, like when the opening line is like really, is like that and just really hooking. And it kept my attention throughout. And the fact that they kept repeating, what was it? All the boys in my town keep dying or something like that. It was very powerful. And this is my favorite type of poetry, to be honest with you. The passion, it was just all there.
Yeah, no, it was really powerful. It was almost like he was demanding to be heard.
Yeah.
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 You're gonna listen.
Yeah.
You're gonna listen to me now. I have something to say. And yeah, I really enjoyed that aspect about it. Like even when he was flowing, when he just kept going, like wow, no, incredible.
To me, it's because of the wind in the background and the phone. Like it felt like it's that part demanding to be heard, part running or being chased.
Yeah.
And it just really added to the whole poem. I was like, oh yeah, I'm in this.
I love that you said that, because that's like, I was trying to think, what is it about this? And it's this urgency.
Yeah, urgency.
It's this urgency, like, and how this thing, it's a continuous thing that all the young men in the town are dying, but it's the urge, like, look, listen, hear this, you know, and it's urgent as hell. I love that.
Yeah.
What I really love about poetry is just how it penetrates your soul. You know that old expression by Bob Marley where it's just like when music hits you, you feel no pain. I feel like poetry is quite the opposite. Not that you feel pain, but it makes you feel something. And that's what I really enjoyed about that as well. So yeah.
Do you know you're a poet in your spare time? I feel like only poets talk about poetry like that.
Yeah, I was thinking that as well.
No, I'm probably just a really good poetry commentator.
I'll keep
There's a
that in
career
mind.
and such.
That's what the poetry world needs.
Yeah.
More commentators. Like the sports world has it. Why not?
Why not poetry?
Right? It makes it real, right?
Very true.
Thanks.
Eugene has clocked off or gone wandering, I think. We've lost him in this incredible building. But we have Anissa Moradadi. Do you want to introduce yourself to this audience?
Absolutely. Yes, my name is Anissa Moradadi. I am the founder and CEO of Beatfreeks, and I was the person that started Poetry Jam all those years ago.
How does it feel being that usually I feel like Poetry Jam isn't Poetry Jam, the birthday, without you standing on the stage and welcoming everybody into the building? How does it feel doing it this year?
Do you know what? It's really, I mean, firstly, like, you know, just being outside of the house is like, but to be on this stage, like this was one of the original visions, is how do we occupy spaces like this, right? And even though it's different, like it's not full of audience and we're distant, like it feels full, just sat listening to the poems and listening to young people fill the rooms with their voices. So yeah, it's weird, it's bittersweet, it just feels amazing, and I'm so glad that 8 years on, this thing is still here and having impact and touching lives. Like that's what it's about. So yeah, thank you so much for having me.
Well, yeah, thank you for
Thanks
setting
having
it
me
up
back.
for us to be here tomorrow.
For creating the entire thing.
Not to sound weird, but it feels longer than 8 years. But like not because it feels longer. You know what I'm saying? It feels
tell
like
me about
it feels more established than 8 years because it is. You know.
I was really trying to do 8 times 12 in my head to be like, because it's been that many
months.
but I couldn't. Yeah, that many poetry jams. Anyway, we're gonna shoot to the first poet.
There are 5 colors. The past. Obsessing over return itches our tonsils. He sings Farid al-Atrash to scratch the back of his throat, where he feels sickness coming, longing. The future. Single as the hanging uvula of a bell. Ululations at the wedding carry the sounds of pigeons with swollen necks. Did my parents in the 80s believe in today? The prospect of a child, a barrette, slipping off her thin hair in a sandy playground. The mind. A shawl flies off my head. I'm snatched back. I remember the slow push against the asphalt to walk myself up the hill in a summer heat. The older woman in the family wrap the crown of their heads in a thin white. A group of women is called a query. It is so quiet, you can hear the kiss of a forehead to the back of a hand. The word. Each bullet hole holds the Bible or the Quran. Send them all back to God. These wounds are not our business. Let the broken glass from the shop windows disintegrate once again into sand. The breath. I see tomorrow so clearly, via a bridge or a brigade. Sometimes we sink to the bottom of the ocean, we tie nostalgia around our ankles, uproot the palm trees with, palm trees fall over with, the last of our oxygen bubbles ripped, chants take breath from us, we can't swim holding fists, the last ripped from our lungs with grief, the volume of the highway. Let the Mediterranean be full of us.
I knew it would be good because it's Riwa. Yeah.
It's the nostalgia. I went off on a whole thing in my head of like, and you don't want to be nostalgic about something, and you are, and like the idea of tripping, and it just got all trippy in my head. Like, it was beautiful.
Yeah. Again, with like the opening line, if I'm correct, or correct me if I'm wrong, whatever the saying is, they were like, there were 5 colours. That's what they said, and then it's like, oh, okay. What's the next colour? I feel like that's a really good way of like making people want to like tune in for the entire piece. Yeah. And I loved the pace of it as well. It was just very calm and soothing, and again, nostalgic as well.
Yeah, I think the water helped with that.
Yeah.
Like it was lulling, like kind of backward and forward.
Literally.
And also like it just made me want to like be in Iran with my grandma, kissing my head. Like the way that she spoke about the in silence, and how that can be such a powerful sound. Like, I don't know, it took me there. It was gorgeous. Yeah.
Did you guys get that the kiss of the forehead on the back of the hand line? I was like, I'm just gonna like
take that one.
I'm just gonna look after that.
I'm just gonna feed on that for a little bit. Yeah, that's the thing with like Riwa's style as well. It's dense and it's delicate and it's controlled. Like Riwa has so much control over like metaphors and the, you know what I'm saying?
You've just hit it, because it's like delicate but controlled, and it was like like, a lot of that, and I was like, it was so soft.
Yeah,
but also
literally.
You felt like you were like, you have to listen to this.
Yeah, it was rich.
Yeah, beautiful.
Also, like, effort, that projector.
I'm impressed.
Yeah, as soon as I saw that, I thought, oh yeah, this is going to be good as well.
Yeah, it was meta as well, because like the projector was like whirring, and so it was like, do you know what I mean? You had like the ocean, but then like that was like, so there was like stability in it. It was just, it was deep. It was cool.
So yeah, whether you thought of that or not, like, you got us with that. You ready?
Let's do it.
I think this might be our last.
I think so.
Oh, this is our last poet.
No
I'm
pressure.
sad, but
no, it's been good.
It's been epic. Well, we've got a bit of a surprise at the end, but let's go to our last poet of the evening.
You can't stop now. When your walls fall down, you can't stop now. Every morning you move mountains, run a marathon with just your socks on. Before breakfast you lift cars and tower blocks out of the way. You are the first person on the moon every day. And you can't stop now because of how good it feels when you do make it out of bed. You sit on your sofa in the high-rise while blood-speckled doves fly by the window, and you let go of hesitations and reservations that for 2 days had sewn you to the carpet by the laces of your Nikes, your unsaid words sticking tightly to your teeth. You take your pulse off pause and you step out the door. And you know you can't stop now. Because when your mum was young, she had sunbeams shining out of her brown skin, and you thought her work clothes were her only clothes, and you thought everyone's mum always wore a name tag. So when you saw her last, she looked so tired. You can't stop now, because you were taught to swim in an ocean of tears, and you built a lifestyle out of fear, and when you pulled it down, you realised the sky was blue. Yeah, you can't stop, because how can you stop when your dog looks at you like that? Yeah, you can't stop. No, you can't stop, because I love myself are the 3 dirtiest words in the English language. So walk into a crowd and scream them. Prime time, ITV, television, beam them. You're a Saturday night dreamer, so walk down the street like you're Travolta in Fever. Nobody does that thing like you would do it, or like you do it, so why don't you do it? Because when you were a child, you thought at age 30 you could do anything, and now you're 30, you just remembered it. You can't stop now. Because when you were a child, you thought at age 60 you could do anything, and now you're 60, you just remembered it. You can't stop now. Because when you were a child, you thought at age 88 you could do nothing, and now you're 88, you're saying, nah mate, you know you can't stop now. Because you're doing something you only ever saw reflected in the turned off TV that you couldn't stop crying in front of. And I can't stop now, cause it feels like flying like a new dress, last breath, Mark, I think I'm dying, and I can't stop now. But maybe you ain't got a roof over your head. Maybe where you're born means you're born dead. Maybe you're 12 and you're carrying a parent on your shoulder. Maybe you never got the chance to get older. Maybe you aren't allowed to love. Maybe your life is worth less because you're born on the other side of a line. Maybe just because you have a heart that beats, hands that build, and a brain that can do anything, that's not enough for you to be seen as human. Maybe you can't stop because you didn't have the option to get started. You can't stop now.
She was definitely in my head.
Yeah, that took that.
Yeah. I was like, I don't know about you guys, but the first bit where like Sarah's like, open it up, like I'm like, huh? No.
Yeah. It's gonna be in my head now.
Also, I really hope at 88 I am saying, nah mate.
Yeah, same.
Yeah, literally. Like, I hope that, like, I think it was. I just love, like, there's an unmade bed in the background, and it's like, yeah.
I noticed that, yeah.
Yeah, and it is, yeah.
Yeah, I just love the whole vibe of that. I love the way they're dressed. It was almost like it reminded me a lot of rap at certain places. It was even the hand gestures. I don't know if you guys clocked, I was vibing a little bit, I was feeling it. And I feel like when it comes to performances, if the performer's feeling themselves, you can't help but feel them. Like there was a confidence there. I felt it, and I definitely felt this one a lot.
Yeah, it was definitely like playful but deep and very multi-layered as well. I think this is what I just love about kind of poetry spoken word, is just you get so much out of what was that, a couple of minutes, and I'm just like, whoa, you saw into my soul.
Yeah.
And it felt a lot. Do you know what I mean? Like, but it's amazing.
That was a beautiful, I felt like a beautiful end for us as well. Like,
I agree.
We've been here all day, all evening.
It felt like a bit of a, because like there's been quite some really hard topics, and not that this one didn't address like lots of things, but also it was that, like, I don't know, it felt like a kick up the ass a bit.
I feel like the others were almost like they were telling us a story, and she's like telling us.
Yeah.
Like she's speaking to you, to...
Literally, and it's that line, I love myself, are the 3 dirtiest words in the English language. I'm like, okay, you told me.
And that for me, she said, so go into rooms and beam it and shout it, and that's what I love about, events like this or like spaces like this, is just like let your story be heard. Do you know what I mean? Like let it ricochet off the roof, and I just think, I don't know, she just hit that nicely.
Yeah. Like, nice ordering there to end on that one.
Yeah.
That was
Yeah.
like, yeah. Shout out to Bogdan for that.
Yes. We've had 8 incredible poets from all around the UK. I've been Amerah Saleh. We've had Jasmine Gardosi. We've had Tia Cham. Anisa Moridadi has joined us. Eugene, Fabio, Tom from Beatfreeks. Thank you so much for being with us and spending the evening with us. Happy birthday to Beatfreeks. We couldn't have cake. Sometimes we have a cake. But this time, you got to go to Asda or Poundland and get yourself a cake and have it on us.
Do it yourself.
Do it yourself, exactly.
Disinfect it before you open it.
There you go. The biggest thank you to Town Hall Symphony Hall. Thank you so much for letting us use this epic, brilliant space and to host us today. Thank you to the team behind as well, to all of our techies, to Paul, to Bogdan. Thank you. And we're going to end the night off with Casey Bailey, who's been watching all of the poems and has written this specifically for us. Over to Casey.
Patchwork. I am falling, falling, falling. I will land in this book to be washed with my own tears and dried by the pages I will wrap myself in. I have been uprooting daffodils, trying to work out what a word's worth if it can't survive frost and grow. We are traveling in these pages, and people will ask us why, because they will never understand this nomadic existence, where we rise without ranking, do not see what is above, around, or beneath us. When we are exhausted, this is the thing we use every night to make us sleep and every morning to make us feel alive again. Did our parents believe in today? Do we believe in tomorrow? We have transcended documenting and lamenting. We are manifesting and manufacturing. Man, the factual in this world is all the proof I need that it could be better. Should be. We have been too aware of our borders. Life can be pretty, but how? So don't judge my book by its coffee stains or battered corners. Don't judge it on its poetry either. When did the gavel giving and gavel gathering start? We are not here to pass judgment. This is a truth we are stuck with, and I can't put it into words. But they will tell you, you end here. But you are falling, falling, falling. And you can't stop now. Thank you.